Welcome back to the Circuito de Estoril here in Portugal. It is the final race of the first round of the 2018 championship. It's Moto2 Race 2, which is along the way next. Now, if you didn't catch Race 1 and you want to watch it on demand or something like that after the race, well, I would look away from your screen and mute it now, because we've got some highlights of Race 1 coming along the way. Well, it was Augusto Fernandez who started from pole position with Xavier Cardelus and Jesco Raffin along the way. However, a damp patch into the first corner and locking the brakes saw Xavier Cardelus on a one-way trip to the gravel trap and indeed the barrier as well. A nasty incident for him, and lucky that the marshals were able to get out of the way there. Very, very tricky. The bike actually, I think, went over the barrier as well. Meanwhile, out in front in the lead of the race, it became Ivo Lopez on the Superstock 600 machine, a bike we're not normally used to seeing out the front, purely because it's about 5 or 6 seconds a lap slower than its Moto2 counterparts. However, in the damper conditions that we had this morning, well, Ivo rode miracles on that bike, as we can see. He led the way commandingly from start to finish over the course of the race on a Yamaha R6. It was absolutely brilliant. Meanwhile, there was a good battle further down the order for the final podium position. This was between Dimas Ecki, Jesco Raffin and Marcel Brenner. Meanwhile, Benny Solis unfortunately came to blows. Bit of contact for him at turn 9. He ended up going down the road. Big shame. And unfortunately, that was pretty much his race run. He did get back on and recirculated. However, it was a shorter end to the race for him. Meanwhile, Jesco Raffin and Dimas Ecki did battle once again. Lukas Tulovic had an incident and had some problems with his bike, causing him to retire from the race early. But Ivo Lopez, what a ride it was from him. He managed to get a lap on a Moto2 bike as well, getting ahead of the number 35 of Benny Solis, the American rider new for this year. Meanwhile, Augusto Fernandez had to get the better of Alexander Anin, just putting a lap on the Ukraine rider. But Ivo Lopez came over the line to make history, the first ever Superstock 600 win in the Moto2 European Championship. Absolutely incredible from the local Portuguese rider. History's been made here on day one, on the opening round of the Moto2 European Championship, and of course under his home crowd, around his home crowd as well. That really does make the victory all that much more sweet. Fantastic stuff. And race 2 set to be a hugely exciting affair as well. Will we see the same as we saw in race 1? Will we even see Xavier Cardelus on the grid? He took quite a knock at the first corner. And I don't know whether that bike is even repairable for the team. They've had a relatively short turnaround, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a vacancy on that grid. Yeah, there's the thrill of having 2 races in one day and the immediate second chance you get to put right whatever went wrong in the first, but then there's also the fact you've got to repair stuff pretty quickly. Well, just in case you have just joined us, 18 laps for the Moto2 European Championship over the 4.182 kilometre long circuit. It's in a clockwise direction, so there are 9 right-hand corners, and 4 of which are left. It's a very exciting challenge for the teams and riders. You've got corners like the interior parabolica, turn 6, and we also have the exterior parabolica as well, the final long banked curve you can see there, which often does promote a drag to the line. Just ask Valentino Rossi or Tony Elias about that, and you will certainly find out a very, very good story about the 2006 Portuguese Grand Prix, which happened here. Of course, I can't believe that's 12 years ago now as well. It seems like it was yesterday, doesn't it? Seems crazy, definitely. I think we first realised quite how long ago it was, although it doesn't seem it, when Jack Miller won that first independent team victory in Assen in 2016. Sorry, again, I'm getting my years mixed up. And yeah, all the talk was of this, and Elias obviously being the man before that to last achieve that. Incredible race. It's a great venue, lots of crazy history here, lots of cool history. First F1 victory for Ayrton Senna, first MotoGP victory for Jorge Lorenzo, and then obviously that super famous battle between Elias and Rossi. Absolutely. Well, you can see conversations going on down in pit lane between the Mark BDS riders, and you can see the big jackets are on as well. As you can see by the hair that's blowing in the wind, it's still very, very windy here at the Circuito de Estoril. I think it might have gone up a few miles an hour over the last hour or so, just increasing ever so slightly. Won't have that much of an effect on these larger motorcycles, being the 600cc. Of course, they weigh a little bit more as well, but regardless, it's not going to be the easiest conditions they'll ride in all season. Yeah, definitely. The wind here is the deciding factor this weekend. Obviously, we've had a bit of wet as well, but the wind is such a big opponent. And it was the same last year
at the same track.
It's easy to get confused.
Well, it's not so much confusion, more my mouth is not obeying my brain.
I have that problem all the time, don't worry.
Yeah, so obviously last season that was a similar problem at Estoril, really high winds. But now, yeah, today does look still. You can see the trees from our commentary box. We can see them moving a little bit in the wind, but at least we've got sunny skies, blue skies, and no threat of rain returning, it seems.
Certainly not, no. Blue skies, as you say, overhead there, Fran. The clouds looking a lot less menacing than they were earlier on, and indeed yesterday as well. The bike's now thundering out of pit lane. I say thundering, it's more of a scream really with the Honda engines that they have on the bikes, but heading out of pit lane, heading towards the grid for the final time, for the final race of the day. It's hard to believe we started broadcasting at 11:15 this morning. It's nearly 3 o'clock already.
Exactly.
Gone by, isn't it?
It really has. We've had some good races, and obviously with the changing categories and quick turnaround between the races, it's a really packed calendar. It's a very, very good value day of racing if you come and see an FIM CEV Repsol event.
Oh, good value. It's free. Absolutely. You can't go wrong, can you?
That's what I'm saying. You know, you get so much, and you just got to turn up.
Absolutely, and you get to go on the pit lane walk as well, which is always a hive of activity. Meet some riders and team members, get some things signed and so on, and everyone's of course very friendly and approachable in the FIM CEV Repsol. As we can see, Steve Mazecki making his way out of pit lane. He'll be hoping for a little bit more, I dare say, in race number 2. Didn't go too badly at all for him in race 1, the Indonesian rider, finishing inside the top 5. However, he'd love to get himself on the rostrum. Yeah,
I think that'll be definitely his goal for second race. I think also the goal of the main guys at the front on Moto2 machinery will be make sure that Moto2 machinery wins the race this time around.
This is also true. Very, very true. Well, there's Augusto Fernandez on the Easy Race Scooter, the only scooter of any kind in the European Moto2 Championship, and only one of 3 indeed here in the World Championship as well. Let's not forget the only team that's running the scooter in the World Championship is the Forward Racing team, with Eric Granado and Stefano Manzi riding their bikes. And of course, a bit of an interesting time for Fernandez. Started on pole position, finished in second place, was well, completely outclassed really by Ivo Lopez and his stock 600.
Yeah, there was some interesting words exchanged between Fernandez and Rafim when they were debriefing obviously their feelings on being beaten by a Superstock 600 machine.
I take it they're not broadcastable feelings either.
No, they weren't too terrible. Just I think they were both a little bit feeling the lack of pride there and want to hit back in this second race.
Well, they've got the perfect opportunity to do so. The track is now significantly drier than it was earlier on, which should mean that we would have the pace of the Moto2 bikes really coming into play. But nonetheless, Ivo Lopez, despite being on that stocker machine, he's very, very quick on it. Of course, he knows the track probably better than anybody else here, aside from, well, Miguel Oliveira maybe, who's not riding. But yeah, he's got a good amount of knowledge on board that bike, on board the around the circuit as well, I should say. So he is in good shape, and he starts as the leading Superstock 600 bike from the middle of the second row. Here's the man who's on pole position though, 20-year-old Augusto Fernandez on board the Easy Race Scooter. Let's keep an eye out for him in this race. He finished second in race number 1. He of course is vying for the championship in 2018. It's a very long way away, Valencia in November, but anything can happen in motorcycle racing, as we know. So let's wait and find out and see what Fernandez will be able to do in race 2. And I have to say, absolute credit to the styler bike team for Xavier Cardelus in Andorra, the Andorran rider. 19 years old he is, and they've managed to get that bike repaired after what was a very, very heavy crash.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the impact wasn't too heavy. Obviously, he took a bit of a hitting the ground. It wasn't really a lean angle when that happened, but the bike obviously just dug in and really went flying down through the runoff and the grass, and then it looks like possibly even over the fence. So yeah, it's good to see him on the grid again. And yeah, starting second. Hopefully we'll get a little bit further in this race now. Shouldn't get caught out by any damp patches. Don't think there's anything now lurking there on the track to catch him out. Then Jesko Rafin, obviously podium, first time out this morning, but he'll want to possibly challenge for the win now. It's dry and he's got a lot of experience. Obviously he was in World Championship. He's come back down to this, and his definite goal is the championship here at the end of the year. So him and Fernandez both really gunning for that. But yeah, Cardelus, it'll be interesting what he can do now. We don't really have any idea of his pace around here other than obviously qualifying form, but not getting too far into race 1 will should put a cat amongst the pigeons a little bit And obviously he's more of an unknown quantity for those guys who were fighting it out at the front earlier on today as well. And Marcel Brenner, another Swiss rider, so we've got a Swiss 3-4 on the grid. Yeah, he's put up a good fight there in the battle with those guys for sort of 3rd, 4th earlier on today, and eventually he came home 5th. So he's another one who'll want to move forward, and now taking that experience of the first few laps he had today earlier on to try and push and take them on a little bit more now. So starting 4th on the grid, 2nd row, should be good position to really get in that fight again. As you can see, still pretty windy. They're out there suffering a little bit, but at least it's sunny. Here's man of the moment then, Ivo Lopez, home hero, 1 win, 1 podium, both today. Incredible job. So yeah, he just really was incredible off the line this morning. Made a great gap, kept his head down, kept calm, and just took it all the way to the line. I was super, super happy, obviously, as you can imagine, in Parc Fermé. So he'll be pretty buoyed by that this morning and see what he can do now. It's pretty dry out there. And yeah, I don't know if we'll see another history maker of a win, but I think certainly he'll want to get in with the fight and take these guys on. And Dimas Eki, also pretty solid race this morning, pretty good form, obviously just limbering up a little bit there, ready to go racing. Got quite a lot of experience, yeah, like I said earlier, he's done a couple of Suzuka 8 hours on bigger bikes, and then also got a podium in the FIM CEV Repsol 2. So he'll want to try and make that another one today, I think. He had a pretty good pace this morning, challenging in with those few front runners behind Lopez and Fernandez, but let's see if he can turn that into a rostrum finish now this afternoon.
Yeah, Dimas Eki, of course, took his first podium in Barcelona last year. Didn't manage to repeat the feat in 2017, but we're really hopeful of being able to do that here in the final race of the day. And he's had a good pace as well, so let's keep an eye out for him. Here, though, is Edgar Pons. A really unfortunate end to him, and good to see he's back out on the bike. We didn't catch that crash with Edgar, did we? And,
no, we didn't. We saw the bike slightly further away from him than maybe expected, and obviously he crashed out, had some sort of issue. We didn't get a replay of exactly what happened, but good to see he's on the grid again and ready to race.
Yeah, absolutely, the 22-year-old Edgar Pons, there he is, after a couple of years, or quite a few years actually, in the World Championship. It's been a difficult time for him there, so coming back here with the AGR team, trying to regroup, is probably exactly what he needs to do, really. And he is in probably the best place and one of the best teams as well, a Spanish team, AGR as well. So let's keep an eye out for him. Lukas Tulovic, he unfortunately failed to finish the first race. Not quite sure what happened to him. And there's his pointing to his hand, and that is because he's suffering from a hand injury, unfortunately. He ended up having a big high side on Friday. And with that high side, he ended up injuring his hand quite significantly, and we saw it yesterday. It was very swollen. Obviously, after a race distance, it's probably not at prime condition.
Yeah, I think he was saying his goal was just to take points, and I'm sure that's not changed for race 2. Like you say, this is the difficult thing. If you are riding with an injury, you've got to do it twice on one day for these guys when they've got 2 races as part of the event. So he'll be probably gritting his teeth and trying to bear it a little bit to get to the end there. Then Alessandro Zacconi, really good start this morning. So 6th he took, and it's a pretty good debut. He had a difficult year in World Supersport last year on an MV Agusta. Changes to this championship for this year, but showed some really, really good pace and duelled for the first ever European Supersport Cup in 2016. So he's got some good pace, as has Zacconi. Not actually seen him here this weekend yet. Don't know if he's still also got some good, long, impressive blonde hair, but we'll have to see. So he'll be wanting to build on what he did this morning and really get himself into this championship. Well,
if we can rival Canon shoes, then we're in for a bit of a competition. Best locks of the season.
It's not quite that. It's less sort of teenage metal band and a little bit more Hansen.
Oh, I see. Hansen, eh? What happened to Hansen? Well, let's get back to racing, shall we? Speed Up and Team Chiatti, Tommaso Marcon, 11th in the championship with 5 points for the 18-year-old. And of course, that bike comes straight from the Speed Up factory. It's one of last year's models that they used, and of course the factory team in the Moto2 World Championship this year with Fabio Quartararo and Danny Kent. And this year they've handed one of those bikes down to the Team Chiatti outfit. And they'll be running it throughout the course of the 2018 European Moto2 season, which is really good to see. The wind is still playing havoc with the flags, as we can see that Portuguese flag not blowing very gracefully in the wind, but I'm sure that'll be sorted out before too long. Meanwhile, let's have a little bit of a look further down the order of the grid, shall we? Because alongside Tommaso Marcon is Corentin Perelari, 9th in the title for him. 7 points on the board. Frenchman, of course, made his Moto2 debut this time, well, not this time, last year. A couple of rounds into the 2017 season did Perelari. And he will be hopeful of some good results this year. Finished 4th in Aragon was his best finish, 13th overall on board that Transformers bike, which is, of course, so vastly different to anything we've seen on the grid. Meanwhile, on the outside of the 4th row of the grid, it is Luis Pomares, the 17-year-old Spaniard. Quite difficult to find out some information about him, really, but he's one of the riders who wears glasses, we see.
Indeed, indeed. As does Alex Marquez needs contacts, I believe, to race.
Does
or glasses.
He really?
Yes, he's off the top of my head, of the current guys in the World Championship, each class, he's the one I can think of that's the most high-profile example. So, yeah, but pretty stylish there under the visor. But now you can see team personnel starting to make their way off the grid. We're getting closer to race time. So these guys now really start to feel that, and start to feel that pre-race zing as they get ready to race.
And here is the grid then. Augusto Fernandez, Xavier Cardelus and Jesko Raffin complete the first row.
And then his compatriot Marcel Brenner, Ivo Lopez, winner of race 1, and Dimas Eki of Indonesia.
Row 2, Edgar Pons, he'll be hoping for a better time out on board the AGR team. Then Lucas Tulovic and Alessandro Zacconi on there.
Then Marcon, Perelari and Pomares.
Benny Solis, Mikel Pons, Hector Garzo on row 5, more on that. Cedric Tondre, then comes Alessandro Zetti, Roman Fischer.
And then Megler, Chandler Cooper, James Flitcroft and Federico Minozzi and Alexander Anin heading up the rear there on row 8.
Good to see that James Flitcroft hopefully will be making the grid this time out as well, according to our timing screens. For race 1, he didn't actually manage to make the start on board that Nikos bike, so it'd be really good to see Britain's being represented, shall we say, on the grid. Just had the tyre allocation through from the Dunlop have just come through, and everybody on exactly the same tyres, the 2 front, the 0 rear. Ivo Lopez, though, of course, being on a stocker machine, he's got the 3 front and the 2 rear. In comparison to what he was running this morning, it's exactly the same. So sticking with what he knows. Good to see. Meanwhile, final preparations taking place.
When what you know is the race victory by quite an incredible margin, maybe it's not so bad to stick to it.
It's not necessarily a gamble, is it? Let's be honest. So, final preparations taking place. We're just waiting for these riders to head off, of course, on their warming up laps. You can see the crowds in the grandstand there as well. It's really good to see so many people from the local area coming down to the circuit to see some, what is, well, unquestionably some of the most spectacular racing. I have to say, I do feel quite sorry for Xavier Cardelus. Those new leathers, which were prime and pristine this morning, some big scuff marks.
Yeah, a little bit worse for wear after that race 1. Sorry, I can't speak now. Race 1, turn 1 tumble. I was already quite, excited about the double T coming up in the sentence. I just lost my way completely. But yeah, he'll be hoping to get a hell of a lot further in this race than he did in the first one, that's for sure.
Problems for Luis Pomares, unfortunately. The Spaniard on the number 29 Kawasaki has unfortunately stalled on the grid and definitely got some problems getting his bike going.
Trying to give him a bit of a push there, get him going, see if he can get it started.
Well, they're trying to bump start him, but I don't think it's going to be going anywhere soon.
Doesn't seem to be taking it yet, does it?
No, which is a bit of a shame for Luis. So unfortunately, he will either be starting at best from pit lane or indeed not starting at all.
Yeah, hopefully they can get it started and he can get in the race at least, but that's a bit of a shame because pretty solid qualifying.
Well, we can see Ivo Lopez is leading the pack. It's only the formation lap, but he's already trying to get a bit of an advantage, isn't he?
Doing a bit of a Jorge Lorenzo there, putting down some authority as soon as you're out and about on track. Lorenzo, you could always tell when it was going to be a good race for him when he just leaves the pack behind on the warm-up lap and heads for the grid. As opposed to the Stoner method, of course, who lets everyone else line up and then just gently moves through to the front to take usually pole position, let's be honest.
Quite. So through turn 7 we go, into turn 8. This is the right-hander. It's followed by this chicane, turns 9 and 10, the left-right kink. That's why we saw that AGR bike of Benny Solis just going down the road at turn 1 after he clipped the rear of another competitor. Meanwhile, some problems for Edgar Pons. Oh, that goes from bad to worse for the Spaniard, doesn't it? What does he have to do to catch a break? He's unfortunately stopped on the sighting lap by the looks of things, and he will go no further on board that Calyx.
Yeah, you can see him hitting the bike a little bit there, saying, "Why? Please start." But obviously got some sort of issue there. That's a shame for him, because he's one of the guys that be wanting to make a championship challenge, and a DNF is a very costly thing.
And 2 DNFs are even worse than that, let's be honest.
Exactly. So, you know, it's a shame. We're not exactly sure what happened this morning, but that looks like some sort of mechanical problem. So sadly, yeah, difficult start to the season for him.
Let's wait and see. So the riders end up on the grid then. Augusto Fernandez rode with speed up in the World Championship last year. He's on a Suter this year with the Easy Race team. He took a podium in the opening race of the season earlier on this morning. Will he be able to repeat that feat? Will he finish in second, or will he go one better? Let's get ready to find out. Xavier Cardelus, he'll be hoping to make it past the first corner. Likewise, Jesko Raffin will be trophying for a podium or race victory charge. Final race of the day then. Moto2 race 2 is underway. Really good start from the front row. They got away very equally as we head down towards the first corner. Who is going to get the advantage? Keep an eye out for Marcel Brenner on the 46, is on the inside. Xavier Cardelus, though, has managed to get the advantage as Augusto Fernandez has dropped right back into the retaining field there. He brakes, I think, a little bit too early and has dropped through the field. He's now down in about, what's that, 9th or 10th position on the opening lap there. Big shame for him. Meanwhile, it's still Xavier Cardelus who leads the way from Jesko Raffin. Meanwhile, Ivo Lopez is on the charge as well on the stock 600 machine, trying to challenge the riders in front of him, with Marcel Brenner also up into 3rd position. But a nice clean start there, Fran. Everybody getting away well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame for Fernandez there. He just got a little bit lost in that turn 1, got blocked out, couldn't quite retain that advantage from pole. But Raffin and Brenner, hop Swiss, straight up there. Double attack there. But Cardelus, I think he'll be happy already to have got away from the line cleanly and now into the lead and round turn 1.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what Ivo Lopez has had for breakfast, but I want it, because he's had some Weetabix or something like that. He's just taken Marcel Brenner at the interior parabolica. I'm really excited to see whether he can do a similar feat to what he did in race 1. Let's wait and find out, shall we? At the moment, it is still Cardelus from Raffin, from Lopez now in 3rd place. Meanwhile, Tommaso Marcon's gone tumbling down the order as the order changes sector by sector. Everybody's still on board the motorcycles as far as we can see. But a good, clean start from all involved. Dimas Eki's lost out a little bit on that opening lap as well. He's in 5th position. So Eki will be hoping, well, he said on the last split he was in 5th position. He's dropped back a little bit further than that now, but regardless, over the timeline we go to complete the first lap. Yeah,
you can see now Raffin's really honing in on Cardelus. He might be looking to make a move into turn 1 here and take over in the lead already. Yep, already past him. See if he can get it stopped. Nicely done, nice and neat. And yeah, not too wide around there, maybe a little bit, but keeps it all on the road. And Lopez, as you can see, really closing in on these guys. So yeah, obviously got some serious pace in the dry as well.
Here comes Lopez up the inside, or he's trying to, into turn number 3. Big head shake. Meanwhile, in 2nd position for Xavier Cardelus. He shuts the door very firmly on corner exit and says, well, you can try all you like, but you're not getting through there. Meanwhile, a bit wide as well by the looks of things for Jesko Raffin. Just about holds on, but look at Lopez. This is absolutely incredible. I didn't think he'd be doing this in race 2.
Yeah, the man's definitely turned up to go racing, hasn't he, today? And he's done that in the first race and then still right in the mix in the second race.
Oh, Cardelus runs it way too hot into the interior parabolica. Just about gets it stopped, but he is going to be absolutely apoplectic behind the helmet of his machine.
Yeah, he's now got Fernandez right behind him as well. He's recovered pretty well from that early drop through the top 10 after starting from pole. It didn't look like a bad start at all, but just round turn 1 just got shuffled back a little bit. So yeah, he's making some ground up now and got past Eki and Brenner and those guys. So now Cardelus is ahead of him and he'll want to get past him and hopefully try and get that R6.
Let's wait and see what will happen then. Well, 17 laps to go here at the Estoril circuit, and it's going to be absolutely tantalising, I can tell you that for one thing. Xavier Cardelus has now got Augusto Fernandez breathing all over his rear tyre. Will Fernandez be able to make a charge? Look at this though, because it's just Fernandez, Eki, and then Brenner also in and amongst the mix. These guys are pretty equally spaced out, it's got to be said, on that start-finish straight. So not too much in terms of a difference for the gap, but this is just incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too far back there to really matter for any of them, really. Kind of equidistant gaps. No one could quite make that move on the guy ahead of them. But yeah, Lopez is doing a really good job, though, still. Not letting Raffin get away too much. And then Cardalou seems to have regrouped a little bit now, but Fernandez is certainly there and keeping good tabs on him. And then Eki and Brenner looking a little bit like they're going to maybe have a bit more of a fight over this than the guys ahead of him. But Raffin now, he was about 8/10 clear over the line last time, so I have to keep an eye on that and see if he can start to build that gap.
Sorry to say, Matthias Megle has stopped, I'm afraid. Some kind of an incident for him. Meanwhile, Edgar Pons didn't get going. Luis Pomares and James Flitcroft also not out on track, so that is a big shame. And we're now down to just 19 competitors, I apologise, left in this race. So hopefully it's not too much of a race of attrition. I have to say, though, really good stuff from both of the Team Wimos TNS outfits, Tech 3 machines. The Garzo and Tulovic in 8th and 9th position. Yeah,
I think Tulovic will be pretty happy at the moment to only be a 10th behind with that injury he's carrying in his wrist. So, well, not injury, but obviously it's a bit swollen, took a bit of a whack, and yeah, I've got a retirement for Federico Minozzi as well.
That's a shame. So 19 down to 18 then. Already it is going to be a race of attrition if it carries on like it is. Well, over the line we go. Raffin keeping that gap at a constant between himself and Ivo Lopez.
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. Still 8/10 next time around then, crossing the line. And Fernandez is making a move there up the inside. It seems to have pretty tidily done that, got it done. And yeah, no way for Cardalou to respond.
Really good stuff from Augusto Fernandez. Will he be able to challenge for second position? Look at that lap, a 1:44.000. It doesn't get much more consistent than that.
Yeah, that's pretty much dead on, isn't it? The numbers geek in me likes that, just the 44 dead, but yeah. So pretty good lap there, and significantly quicker than the guys ahead of him as well, 3.5 tenths. So he'll be probably, I imagine, soon straight behind Lopez and challenging to try and move up. I think maybe he's aware that it's Lopez in between him and Raffin, will want to pedal to the metal and get past him and see if he can chase down the Swissman.
Ooh.
Swissman?
The Swissman, does that work?
The Swiss. I don't like the Swiss. The Swiss rider.
Swiss
in the
rider,
lead.
Yeah. That's what you'd use in an article, isn't it?
Indeed, the Swiss rider.
Meanwhile, Dimaseki had a big head shake into turn 6. He's managed to gather it up and not lose too much ground to Cardalou in front of him.
Maybe a little tiny moment there for Lopez as well, just going through there. But Eki is a little bit wild anyway. He's just, you know, that's how he rides it. But that was definitely not an intended bit of...
Well, he's one of the older riders in the field, isn't he, as well, Dimaseki? He's 25 years of age. Most of the riders that are in Moto2 are sort of late teens, early 20s or so, and he's 25, so he's got a good amount of experience and really doing a good job for himself and, of course, for Indonesia as well, where we know he has such a big following.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a few cool Indonesians riding at the moment. We've got Dimaseki here, and then the Asia Talent Cup. Got Mario Aji, who I believe is known as Super Mario Aji, who's been a real protagonist of some of those races. Obviously the first 2 rounds of the season we've had now in Qatar and Buriram, and it's really great to see. It's really, really good to see, because obviously there's so much support for the sport in all classes. They just love bike racing in Indonesia, so it's great that they get some representation in a few different places now and moving up.
Well, one of the riders, of course, that's made his move up to the Moto3 Junior World Championship this year is Jerry Salim, former Asia Talent Cup rider, so good to see Indonesia being represented in the Junior World Championship also. Meanwhile, what has gone on with Hector Garza? I don't know if he's had a crash or something like that and done some injuries to himself, but I really expected him to be further up the order than this.
Yeah, having a bit of a tough time at the moment, definitely. So, yeah, because he impressed so much when obviously he was in the GP paddock on a Moto2 machine. Didn't quite finish the race, but showed some amazing pace. So you'd certainly expect him to have started the season a little bit further up than this. As you can see now, Raffin's really eking out that gap a bit, and Fernandez is really gaining on Lopez. I think now he's going to see that, and he's going to think, right, okay, I've got to get past you, and I've got to chase down that gap to the lead. Otherwise, this race is going to go.
Yeah, the 21-year-old doing an absolutely brilliant job. We go hard on the brakes.
You can see already.
Go into the left-hander, then into the right. Augusto Fernandez is ahead into second position then of the Portuguese, the local rider, Ivo Lopez.
Yeah, still stunning ride in the dry, but yeah, I think Fernandez obviously saw that gap starting to increase and thought, right, strike now, and did just that. Nicely done. But Lopez isn't letting him get away. He's not been able to make much daylight. I'll have to see what happens. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there as well for Lopez, though. I'll have to see down the straight now. Fernandez should have a bit of an advantage.
Well, normally you would expect the stock 600 bikes to be significantly slower than the Moto2 bikes, but I wonder if there are a few little modifications that they've been making to that engine. I think it's part of a tuning company that is part of the sponsor on his bike, which I alluded to as a race game company earlier on. I was incorrect in saying that. I think it's a tuning company, so it might have some good straight line speed on that R6, which is certainly proven to work very well. Yeah,
he's doing a pretty good job of keeping this fight in with the Moto2 guys at the moment. Maybe a little bit, looks like he's a bit on the limit more than the guys ahead of him. But oh, and then disappointment here for Hector Garzo. Obviously out of the race, looks okay walking away from that. Maybe not sure exactly what's happened, could just be a little bit winded. Obviously it's a bit of a shock when you crash at any speed, but luckily he's okay. But yeah, he'll want to really hit back pretty quick next round out, because that's not the start he would have wanted for his season.
Yeah, we can forget for Hector Garzo, of course, but I suppose if nothing else, he can take solace from the likes of Ricky Cardouse, who came in here last year, missed the first round, came into round 2 in Catalonia, and then absolutely, lit the touch paper, didn't he? And got himself in with a chance of the championship right up until the final round. So.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Ricky Cardouse, super quality rider, KTM test rider for Moto2 as well. Done quite a fair bit in the World Championship as well. Good point scorer, some good top 10s. Solid rider, and he really, he had a great season here last year. Really took it down to the wire.
This will be exciting. So into the final corner we go. The Parabolica interior. Augusto Fernandez still in second place. Is he going to be able to bridge that gap, though, to Jesco Raffin? That's the question we're going to be asking at the moment. Over the timeline we go. Raffin leads the way. Fastest lap from him, though. And the gap stays pretty constant by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think Fernandez, I was going to call him Augusto Fernandez, super formal full name. Fernandez is a few tenths a little bit slower that lap, but obviously as well now he's in completely clear air and he's got the one sort of rabbit ahead of him. So he's going to be greyhounding his best to try and catch up with Raffin, but I don't know, because Raffin's got a lot of experience, and yeah, he's got some serious pace at the moment as well. Like you said, fastest lap, which was a 1:43.393 last time round. It was a 1:43.711 for Fernandez.
It's going to be exciting to see what happens. So through the right-hander of turn 5 we go into the interior Parabolica of turn number 6. Dimas Eki still doing a good job of holding on to 5th place as well, the Indonesian rider.
Yeah, he was the only other man in the 1:43s last time around, 1:43.971. So he's got some good pace as well in that little second group that are squabbling. There's sort of few tenths between Cardouse and Lopez, and then Eki not so far back either, and Zacconi also, yeah, he's only sort of a second-ish behind Eki. So really, really solid first weekend for him in the European Moto2 Championship.
Well, into the left-hander of turn 9, then into the right quickly of turn 10 we go. Xavier Cardouse trying to get the better of Ivo Lopez. This could be a good little battle for 3rd position, couldn't we, with Eki also in tow? Yeah,
it looks like Lopez now, he's got the wolves coming for him a little bit, as Rossi said of that Qatar GP. But yeah, it's a pretty tough ask to be where he is, let alone to have won the first race of the day. So he's doing a fantastic job. Now I think he might be a little bit victim to Moto2 speed down the straight. Yep, as you can see, have to see if he can make it up when they get back off the main straight, and if he can. Well, he's only let Cardouse. Well, I say let. Only Cardouse has got past. So see if he can keep the speed up now and make the difference on the twists and turns rather than on the straight.
This is a good point. Let's go into the right-hander of turn 2. Oh, Benny Solis again. Dear, oh dear, it's been a trying day for the North Carolina rider. And let's see if we can piece together what happened. Well, we're going through the right-hander and it bucked it. Oh, it's too hard to describe. And the bike, I'm afraid, that is absolute toast by the looks of things. So the final corner bites for Benny Solis. He's going to try and get it going, though. Miracle of miracles if he can.
Yeah, if he can get it going, at least he can take some solace from it. I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
Nah, difficult weekend for him to start off his campaign. See, he has laughed. It was just on a slight delay.
Where do you get them from? That's what I want to know.
It's just talent.
Christmas crackers, I think, isn't it?
It's just talent and training from Matt Burt. But no, it's a difficult weekend to start off his campaign. It'll be a complete reset, I think. But if he can get the bike going again, at least he'll get a few more laps. That's
true, and given the way that this race has been going as well, he might end up with a point or two on the board as well.
Indeed, sometimes all you got to do is finish. So we'll have to see if he can get going again and get back in it.
He has rejoined, which is good to see. So he's not too far down. He'll be a bit of a way back, but nonetheless, Benny Solis, good to see him back out. A trying debut weekend for him as the marshals just walk back into safety. Over the timeline we go with Jesko Raffin, the number 2, the Swiss rider from Zurich. 2014 champion, of course.
Sorry, Fernandez made a little bit of a gain on that lap round, just a few tenths quicker, so it's back down under 2 seconds, that gap now. And Lopez is not giving up on this.
This is very close.
Straight down the inside again to take back Eki and stay in that podium hunt.
It's very, very exciting between these two guys. We go into the right-hander, which follows, and look at how close this is between the riders. Into the right-hander we go then. And Ivo Lopez still manages to hold off Dimas Eki for 4th position. But I tell you what, Eki, Zacconi and Tulovic all are there.
He's got a bit of company now, hasn't he? So it'll be interesting to see what he can make of this. But, you know, he's doing an incredible job, still up in 4th place. And after that first race win, you know, he showed it's not just a flash in the pan. He's significantly far ahead. Like, the next Superstock machine on the road is in 13th. And around about 37 seconds off him. So that's a pretty good day at the office.
Not so bad, right? I'm sure he's had worse, let's be honest.
Definitely.
Well, into the right-hander we go of turn 7 and out of it now. And then the right-hander of 8, which follows. The chicane of turns 9 and 10 is a very interesting part of the lap. It's where we see a lot of overtakes, a very wide entry, but of course it tightens up, and it's a bit of a horrible corner, really, isn't it? Lots of riders like it, but we're overtaking, but it's very tight, very twisty, slowing and scrubbing a lot of speed.
Definitely a challenge. You can see there Lopez really making that R6 work through there, and is tagged right back onto the back of Cardalus. Really tight line for him around there out the chicane, and he's back on him, and he needs to be. He needs to tuck in and sit there and see if he can hold on to that position by the end of the main straight.
Absolutely. Well, over the timeline we go. Here's Tulovic as well. He's coming into play. He's going to try and get the better of Eki. I don't think he'll be able to get ahead of Lopez, but on the brakes we go. The German rider, the 17-year-old, is up the inside and into the top 5. Brilliant stuff from Lukas Tulovic. That hand injury on lap 10 of 18 not hindering him too much.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff. Like you were saying, he could only open the throttle fully on the straight. So probably turn 1's a fairly good place to try and do that for him. But yeah, it's impressive stuff, and he said he wanted points today, so 5th is a very, very good haul of points.
It certainly is. So look at that fantastic camera shot as we watch the bikes cascading past. And
certainly looks a lot nicer in the sunshine, doesn't it? Sorry to interrupt. Not quite the evil grey skies of earlier now. So Tulovic now past Lopez.
Oh, but he's running way too hot into there. And he is off into the car park, or indeed the centre of Lisbon, and he's going to have to do all that hard work again. Yeah, definitely. And Cardalus also made a bit of a hash of that, and Lopez has really come out on top. So, yeah, they've got all the work to do again now. These guys got to chase him back down. Well, through turn 7, then into turn 8 we go. Let's have a look, see if we can work out what happened. Tulovic, well, yeah, just way more than he could chew through there. Yeah, and then you can see Cardalus also having the same issue, just out of shot, and Lopez just keeps it nice and tight around the inside line. And there's both of them in the runoff. So yeah, really good job. He's just avoiding those mistakes, you know. That can be an advantage too. It's not necessarily the bike you're on or anything else. If he can keep it clean and just do a solid job and, yeah, keep chipping away, you never know. These guys might trip each other up as well as themselves. We were talking about Benny Solis earlier. Sorry to say he's now come back into the pit lane. So the American has retired from this second Moto2 race. A shame for him, but still a learning curve and still time to Improved. Meanwhile, here comes Lopez up the inside of Xavier Cardelus at the first corner. Well, there you go.
Exactly. Gave away all the advantage he gained from having that Moto2 machine underneath him there. Just, again, way too hot into there. There's really no need for these guys at the moment. If they, you know, they seem to have got pretty good pace, maybe better than Lopez ahead of them. They just need to calm down, stop making too many mistakes, and just concentrate on, you know, they've got a fair few laps to go. There's, you know, more than 6 laps, full laps. So just, you know, focus on the task at hand and don't desperately need to just run past him.
Just behind Xavier Cardelus was Alessandro Zacconi, who was going very, very defensive into that corner, trying to fend off the fight of Lukas Tulovic. Into the interior parabolica we go, and Tulovic really, really closing up through that corner. But of course, it's on corner exit where he's going to lose out because of that hand injury. He can't open the throttle, can he, all the way, as we know?
Yeah, a little bit tough. And Zacconi was pretty tight around there, keeping it nice and tidy. He seems to have settled onto a Moto2 machine pretty well. And it's good to see. Like I say, yeah, nice guy. Bit of a challenge in my old career in World Superbike because I don't speak good Italian, and he's not got the greatest English back then. But yeah, it's good to see him back up there at the sharp end of the championship. But he's now got his sights set on Cardelus, see if he can do anything about that and then chase down Lopez, or if Cardelus has recomposed himself a little after that adventure.
Yeah, this is the thing with Cardelus, though, especially last year. He was incredibly quick and incredibly fast on some occasions on the bike over the course of a lap, but over a race distance, he's just needed to get that bit more consistency on the machine more than anything. Yeah,
exactly. You need to be able to avoid those mistakes and keep those lap times coming. Obviously, it's heartbreak for Lopez again down the main straight, though. He just loses out to that speed of the Moto2 machine, and he'll be looking to try and hit back as quick as he can. It's incredible, obviously, the difference he can make up during the lap, and then has to just kind of sit there and watch them really...
Zacconi was trying to bite him off who he can chew.
Just singing his praises, and then does a fully Inone, but luckily not quite. But yeah, you can see again, as soon as we're back off the main straight, Lopez closed right back in, so I'm sure he'll want to hit back again. Yeah, really good mid-corner speed from that R6, and good traction as well on the bike, that goes without saying. Here comes Tulovic, though. He's going to try and get himself ahead of the Portuguese rider. Will he do exactly the same thing? Will he run it too deep? No, he claims the apex this time and manages to get it. Yeah, just about keeping it in there. Yeah, claimed the apex, lovely there. Oh, Lopez almost got a little puff of dirt there. Oh, and he's going to get done by Zacconi as well. Maybe. I think they've decided now is the time to pounce. But obviously Zacconi as well will have his eye on the two guys who have got past the R6 and want to stay on their tail if he wants to fight them. Oh, Lucas not into turn 9. That's a bit rough and a bit ready through to there. He was looking for the inside line, but the opportunity didn't present itself. He's a little bit wide out of that corner there, and that's going to allow Lopez to just close up ever so slightly as we come into that final turn. Let's wait and see what will happen then over the timing line. We know the slipstream, of course, isn't as effective in Moto2 as we've seen in, for example, Moto3 or the European Talent Cup, but... Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit disappointed that he's coming down here having not gained those positions back, to be honest, because now I think Eki and Zacconi are going to be able to make pretty short work of that. But he's so strong through that section and around the chicane. And coming down to the main straight is, yeah, just on the straight, then he just loses out in straight line speed. Tulovic trying to fight his way past Xavier Cardelus. This is really, really good stuff from the injured German. Closely followed by Alessandro Zacconi. Yeah, it's a good little battle, this, and no one's getting away, and no one looks like they can really escape the other few in it. So it should be a good fight for the podium here. I think we've pretty much got the win in second place decided, because Raffin now 2.6, so pretty significant gap. It's been fairly similar for quite a while now, and Fernandez isn't quite lapping on the same pace as the Swiss rider who's in the lead. So I think this is definitely going to be our key drama to end the day here in Estoril. Well, we do like a bit of drama. Oh, Cardelus is wide, and here comes Tulovic up the inside. The battle for the podium sees Lukas Tulovic up into third position. Good stuff. Yeah, definitely. It looked like Eki and Zacconi almost had a bit of a fight there, just out of shot as well. So have to see. Obviously, Eki, like I said, a little bit wild, but great, super entertaining to watch. But yeah, we'll have to see now. Tulovic, can he hold on? I mean, 13 of 18, you'd think that anything from his hand that was really going to bother him significantly, he wouldn't have been able to get up into this podium fight, so we'll have to see. Oh dear, we've got one of the stock riders that's gone down. Looks like it could be at the final course. Charlie Cooper, isn't it, that's gone down? There he is, the number 24. Let's see if we can find out. It was the final corner, and, well, he ran on and tipped it into the gravel for good measure.
That's 0 dear. It's been a difficult start to his Stock 600 campaign. Chandler Cooper, difficult learning curve for him, but still, he's got a whole season ahead, so let's wait and see whether he can get himself up towards the sharper end of that fight later in the year.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you can see the amount of daylight these two guys have got. They're really just, I mean, obviously great pace, but also tactically get to the front, make the gap, no battles, nothing else, straight through. Bob's your uncle.
I would ask who your aunt is.
Well, I was trying to think of a joke, actually, but I couldn't. Like, Jesko Raffine, it's not really a joke that lends itself to a name that lends itself to a Bob's Your Uncle style joke,
no,
is it, to be
yeah,
honest?
you've got a good point on that one, actually. Yeah, comes to think of it. Well, still, there you go. That's life.
Yeah, indeed. I'll try again, you know. I had the Solace joke, which is possibly one of the greatest jokes ever told on television, so I think I'm one up to the day.
The jury's still out on that one, I've got to be honest.
Well, I'm very modest, so...
You're too modest to say so, though.
Well, yeah, so, I don't know, I mean, Fernandez... It depends what's going to happen in these last 5 laps, but, you know, over 2 seconds is a significant gap. But then Tulovic seems to have been able to keep hold of that P3, so that's pretty good. And he's got, you know, a few tenths back to Cardelus, or certainly last time over the timing line. So, yeah, it should be a pretty interesting duel here because they're all really close together there.
Well, as we alluded to earlier on as well, we've got Tulovic, who is doing racing, of course, in the Moto2 European Championship, but also in the RMFE Stock 600 Championship on board a Yamaha R6. So he is going to have a lot of experience. How many weekends did he say that he was doing?
I'm not sure.
90 days, I think, on the bike like that, wasn't it?
Yes, and it's 2 weeks race, 2 weeks race, 2 weeks race. So pretty packed schedule. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, I think in one race, that's what these guys want. They just want time on the bike. There's only really Cal Crutchlow who cycles and doesn't really train on a motorcycle, but whether it's more racing or training, most of the guys who are at the top of the game throughout all of these different classes and championships, time on the bike is the key.
There was a big head shake from Dimas Eki as we went into the first corner there. The Indonesian just keeping it sunny side up.
And Tulovic seems to have really managed to escape these guys now. Has suddenly pulled out a couple of seconds on them. So I don't know if there was some hidden drama we didn't quite see. But yeah, definitely Tulovic now got the real upper hand here.
Well, this is going to be Christmas come early for Lucas Tulovic. If you'd offered him that podium at the start of the weekend, I tell you what, he will be a very, very happy man. And if he can continue in that position, I don't want to tempt fate too much, but if he can, then I think he will be smiling from ear to ear.
Definitely. He almost laughed, didn't he, when I said maybe we'll see you in Parc Fermé. So I think definitely third will be very happy.
Yeah, that's certainly so. Here comes Zacconi up the inside of Cardelus. Cardelus is going to be dropping like a stone at this rate. Back through the field. He's up the inside. Zacconi is in to the top 5. Good stuff.
Nice move that. Aggressive, but not too aggressive. Still on the right side of the limit. And yeah, good move. Now we'll be wanting to get past Eki. But yeah, pretty good stuff here. And Tulovic, I think he's really checked out. Just serious fresh air now. And now Cardelus is getting threatened again by his old friend Ivo Lopez.
I'm sure those two probably are good friends. But if they're not, they will be at the end of today.
Well, they've spent so much time together.
Exactly. What more could you want? It's a great way to bond. Over the timing line we go then. Here comes Zacconi. This is a great late race charge from the Italian rider. He's really come good on these used tyres. Yeah,
definitely. He's got some good pace now. See if he can make this stick into turn 1.
Look at those bumps. Oh, he's run wide though, surely.
He's a bit deep, yeah. Should get it collected up though. Not going to lose out too much, but now obviously it's not just a two-way battle for that position, and Cardelus has got past him. You can see the incredible amount of speed they have over the R6 down the straight. By the time they get around these few corners, around the mid part of the lap, it takes Lopez all that time to get back on them.
He was out well wide into that corner there. Zacconi is thinking, well, I might try and get back past you again and then try and see what I can do on the start-finish straight once more. He's going to be running out of time because there's only going to be 2 laps left after this one. But Zacconi, well, his first race in the Moto2 European Championship after a relatively mixed campaign in Supersport is going very, very well indeed. So through the Parabolica interior we go. And still, Eki just about holds on. That bike bucking and weaving all over the place with the used tyres.
Yeah, these guys looking pretty wild now. But I don't know, I think Zacconi should... I think he looks like he's pretty much ready to attack.
Here he comes.
Yeah, there you go.
The inside into the chicane of turns 9 and turns 10. And Cardelouse has just got no answer to it. He just says, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. If you're going to go past, you're going to go past. His late race pace is really not all that good, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems, other than that one error back there, it seems to be Zacconi that's really got the pace here. So he'll be hopeful of getting past Eki now and see if he can keep it nice and tidy and hopefully try and pull away from these guys. Because, yeah, Tulovic is definitely gone. I think we've got the podium decided, barring any crazy incidents. But yeah, let's see if Zacconi, probably not close enough down into turn 1 this time, but should, I imagine, be looking to make a quick move.
Tell you what, Cardelouse is going to go well wide at that first corner. He looked like he was trying to move around the outside for just a couple of moments there, but then it was quite clear he was overshooting the braking zone by a significant margin.
Yeah, so, yeah, Zacconi not actually as close as I expected he might have been there. And Cardelouse, again, a little bit wild, but he's, yeah, not too bad. He's got it collected up again, but needs to just avoid those errors. They've cost him a fair bit of time now. Just needs to keep it a bit cleaner and stay focused on those two ahead of him. So
it's going to be Eki versus Zacconi then for the 4th position in this race. Who will be able to get it? Well, time will tell on this occasion. I'll tell you what, Eki, though, he's relatively strong in this middle sector. The bike is looking pretty good in the mid sort of speed corners. It's on the, especially into like turn 1 where we can see Zacconi just looks that little bit stronger. Let's wait and see what will happen, though. We'll see if Zacconi pulls his chicane special as well. Done that a couple of times now and used it really well, really got that move down. So we'll see what the Indonesian thinks about that. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Still 2 laps from home. He's up the inside of Eki, and Zacconi is up into 4th position with 2 laps, or just 1 and a bit laps to go here in this race. Just over 4.2 kilometres from home then, here in race 2 for the Moto2 European Championship. Through the Parabolica and through the final corner we go. And who is going to get 4th place? It won't count necessarily for glory in Parc Ferme, but it will count for honour between the two. Over the timing line we are. This is going to be incredibly close as we go side by side. Yeah, so Raffin obviously halfway around his last lap now. He's going to probably take this victory, and that gap stayed pretty constant back to Fernandez, but Tulovic in 3rd, and this duel for 4th is going to go all the way. I think super close on the timesheets. Hope we can get back to that battle in a minute. But yeah, Fernandez, yeah, he's moved in a little bit, cut that gap down, but last lap it's pretty much over, I think, by now. But it says Eki still just ahead of Zacconi. We'll have to see when they next come through. Yeah, we certainly will. This is going to be very exciting indeed. So, into the Parabolica interior we go with Augusto Fernandez. He is in 2nd place. That looks like a dead cert. I'd love to cross back to the battle, though, for 4th position and keep an eye on what is happening there between Eki and Zacconi, because that was so close as we went into the middle sector. Fernandez has done a great job, though. You can't take it away from him on board that Suter. Likewise, Jesko Raffin on the number 2. Oh no, and Zacconi's gone down on the final lap. I don't believe it. Oh, what a shame for the Italian rider. Just as we were singing his praises, the commentator's curse strikes again and he crashes out. Such a shame. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And he is absolutely inconsolable at the moment. 19 years old he is, and that, I'm afraid, is how you learn the hard way. Meanwhile, over the line we go. Jesko Raffin takes victory in race 2 here in Estoril. Absolutely brilliant stuff from the 21-year-old Swiss rider. Incredible performance from him. It's another podium, I should say, for Augusto Fernandez in 2nd place. And then Lucas Tulovic, amazingly, after the injuries that he is carrying, finishes in 3rd position on the rostrum, the German rider. Just an incredible end to what was an incredible race. Tulovic in 3rd. Dimas Eki just missed out on the rostrum in 4th place. Xavier Cardelouse was 5th. Ivo Lopez, the winner from race 1, finishes in 6th position. Marcel Brenner 7th, Miguel Pons in 8th, and Martin Taramasso in 9th, and then Cedric Tonglet in 10th place. But Alessandro Zacconi, well, crashing out on that final lap. What an absolute disaster for the Italian. He will be, I'm sure, very cross with himself for a very long time after that one. So the riders now on their cooling down lap, just enough time to get our breaths after what was just an incredible race. Lukas Tulovic, the German rider, number 3 on his bike, riding a Tech 3 machine, and he finishes in 3rd position. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Good start to the season for Tulovic. The Team Wimu CNS outfit really know how to put a bike together. Absolutely no exception as well. Fantastic stuff. What a day's racing we've had. What a race that Moto2 one was. Really a bit of a slow burner. Started off quite quietly towards the start, but got incredibly busy and action-packed towards the end. And Jesko Raffin, I don't think you can scarcely believe that he's taken the race victory. The Swiss Innovative Investors team will be very pleased with that. And there is the number 18 of Xavier Cardelus just on the outside of the final corner, we can see, and he'll be okay. I reckon he'll be relatively pleased with that top 5 finish. Jesko Raffin, though, will be on top of the world, the Swiss. Difficult couple of years for him in Moto2. Took his best finish of 4th place in Australia, but that was pretty much a one-off performance from him. We really wondered whether we might kick on in the last couple of races of the season, but it was just too little too late, unfortunately, for him. And into the pit lane he goes, still with the Swiss Innovative Investors team, though. It's really good to see for him. They've put a lot of faith in him. So let's have a look then at the final results. Jesko Raffin, Augusto Fernandez, Lukas Tulovic is your podium. Dimas Ecki, Xavier Cardelus complete the top 5. Ivo Lopez, the first stock bike home, in 6th place. Marcel Brenner 7th. Miguel Pons 8th. And Tommaso Marcon, the Italian rider, finishes in 9th place on board the Team Chiatti Speed Up. Just inside the top 10, Cedric Changlet, Corentin Perelari on the Transformers machine, Roman Fischer, Alessandro Zetti in 12th and 13th. Alessandro Zacconi unfortunately fails to finish after crashing out on the final lap of racing. Alexander Anin also inside the points. Federico Minozzi, Matthias Megle, Edgar Pons didn't get started, of course. Luis Pomares likewise as well. Those 2 riders not making the starting grid. A big shame, but as we can see, celebrations in Parc Ferme for Jesko Raffin. He'll be very, very pleased with that result, and quite understandably as well. There we go, look at that. It's been a long time since he's been stood on the top step of the podium, and there's no feeling sweeter. Look at Lukas Tulovic there in the background, the Dayglow yellow helmet. He is absolutely elated with that podium position. And that's actually his best result of the 2017 season as well, his whole season, his whole career in the Moto2 European Championship. Anyway, let's go down then to Parc Ferme. Fran is with the race winner, Jesko Raffin. Well, hopefully we'll get the interview with Jesko Raffin very soon. A couple of delays in Parc Ferme. I'm sure he just wants to celebrate with his team. Team Wimu CMS there congratulating Lukas Tulovic, as we said, his best ever result in the Moto2 European Championship. Look at the joy on his face as well. Just fantastic. There we go. That right hand is going to take a little bit of healing.
Incredible race here. You started your season in a good way with the podium and then a win today. Tell us, how was that?
It's a great feeling. In the first race was difficult. It was not dry, but also not wet. So it was very risky, and I had a big moment. So I took the 3rd place, the points, and now in perfect conditions, I get a good rhythm from the beginning, and like this, I was able to make a cap and hold the cap till the end, and yeah, I want to say thank you to the team. They did a great job, and all people around me, because without them this is not possible.
And then a few words in.
Hammerrennen, Hammertag. Im ersten Rennen war es weder nass noch trocken und sehr schwierig schnell zu fahren. Und als ich fast gestürzt bin, habe ich gesagt, ich nehme den 3. Platz, die Punkte mit nach Hause und ja, im zweiten Rennen war die Bedingungen perfekt und ich konnte von Anfang an einen guten Rhythmus fahren und so auch die Distanz zum Hinteren halten bis am Schluss und das ist natürlich ein Hammergefühl. Natürlich will ich mich auch beim ganzen Team bedanken, die haben einen fantastischen Job gemacht und alle Leute, die mich bisher unterstützt haben, weil ohne sie wäre das gar nicht möglich.
Vielen Dank.
Bitte schön.
Well, some highlights then from the second race. It was Augusto Fernandez on pole position, Xavier Cardelus and Jesco Raffin alongside. And unfortunately for Augusto Fernandez, he made a really difficult start to his race. Xavier Cardelus had a moment on the brakes, but not quite as spectacular as race 1, fortunately for him. Fortunately, though, everybody made it relatively cleanly through the first corner as Xavier Cardelus hit the front on the opening part of the opening lap. Meanwhile, Jesco Raffin, Ivo Lopez soon caught up and passed. Lopez, of course, on that stock 600 machine is a very impressive feat for the number 75, the local Portuguese rider. But Raffin soon hit the front where he would be untouchable until the rest of the race. Meanwhile, Augusto Fernandez set about getting the better of Ivo Lopez in the opening stages, and it wasn't long before the Easy Race suitor was out in front. He was up into second position. There was drama as Hector Garzo crashed out on board the Tech 3 Team Wimu CNS outfit, and likewise Benny Solis hit the deck. That was a big shame for the number 35. 2 crashes in 2 races for the American rider. Better luck for him next time out, we're sure. Meanwhile, then, Ivo Lopez fell into the clutches of Dina Secchi and Lukas Tulovic, who was on a really good charge in the middle stages of the race. Not before, though, he ran on at the interior parabolica. And, of course, Xavier Cardelus followed on in sympathy as well. They soon regrouped and the battle for position soon changed. Cardelus was a little bit wide at the first corner and Ivo Lopez was back up the inside. Then it was all change as Tulovic challenged for the podium. Unfortunately, Chandler Cooper also crashed out in the final stages as well. Alessandro Zacconi ran on at the first corner. He was way too hot into there, and that allowed the retaining field to go back on through. Meanwhile, Zacconi versus Ecki was the story of the final lap of the race, and here is what happened. Into the side of Ecki was Zacconi, and he crashed out of the race. A big shame there for that, for the Italian rider, as Jesco Raffin went over the timing line to take the checkered flag and claim a brilliant race victory.
Yeah, pretty happy Swiss rider down in Parc Fermé there with the podium this morning. And then now the race win. So good start to his campaign.
Not bad at all. Well, Augusto Fernandez in second position as well. He'll be very pleased with that. We go on to the podium now, and Lukas Tulovic, he's got a grin the size of Portugal, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think if anything, he was maybe the happiest man in Parc Fermé. Very thrilled with that third place. Really
good stuff. So, Constructors' Trophy collected by the Swiss Innovative Investors team. Lukas Tulovic. And there we go, just having a handshake, very tender handshake as well. Nice to see Ivo Lopez, of course, the stock 600 first place finisher on the right-hand side of the podium. Of course, that wasn't a feature in race 1 because he was on the top step of the podium.
Exactly, so he's made it 2 visits to the Russian today, so definitely a very good day at the office, even if yet today not quite able to challenge for the top 3 steps in the second race.
Well, there we go. Ivo Lopez presented his second trophy of the day. Good stuff from the Portuguese rider. I tell you what, if he's looking for a full-time ride in this championship, he's done exactly what he needs to do to put himself in the shop window. It's
impressive stuff, definitely. I think there's a few people going to have, really had an eye on him today.
Lukas Tulovic, of course, there in third position. German rider, he is going to be racing in the Super Stock 600 class very shortly as well, a couple of weeks' time.
Exactly, straight back on it.
Over to Albacete and jump on the bike. Well, there we go. Lukas Tulovic will be presented with his third place trophy. Look at that. After the trials and tribulations of the team during this weekend, unfortunately it's been a bit of a weekend to forget for Tulovic's teammate Hector Garzo. He ended up crashing out, of course, in that second race, so some kind of solace for the team.
Definitely, and we've got 3 different manufacturers on the podium as well, which is really good stuff to see.
Certainly is. Well, there we go. Jesco Raffin. I think he's pleased, don't you?
I think he might be, yeah. And I'm not sure what gave it away. But no, yeah, he's had a great day to start the championship, so he'll be feeling pretty happy after that.
And some free petrol on the way home as well. You
Indeed.
Can't go wrong, can you?
I'm not sure how many Repsol stations there are in Switzerland.
Well, find out, I'm sure.
But, yeah.
The abridged version of the Swiss national anthem for Jesco Raffin here in Portugal. And Lucas Tulovic, well, he's going to struggle to get that bottle open because he can't grab it with both his hands, can he?
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate. Yeah, he'll...
he's got Caceres. He's not old enough as well. He's got Caceres.
Of course, yes, he's 17. He looks about 23, but he's actually 17. So, yeah, doing the sensible thing there and protecting his face and standing near their back. Final
championship standings. Jesco Raffin then is on top in the Moto2 European Championship by 1 solitary point ahead of Augusto Fernandez. Ivo Lopez on the stock Yamaha in 3rd place. Dimas Ecki 4th, Marcel Brenner 5th, Edgar Pons 6th, Lucas Tulovic in 7th, and the field runs down the order as it was. Very quickly, Fran, what an exciting day we've had. Huge start to the season.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be a lot of people heading away from Estoril pretty happy, and a few people needing to turn it around pretty quick in Valencia. But yeah, some good opening races, definitely.
Well, that's all from us. We'll see you next time out at the end of April in Valencia.